We're practicing calculating surface area of prisms and cylinders on tonight's homework. Here we have a triangular prism. I know that it's a prism because it has two faces that are parallel and congruent, these two triangular faces. And so those are the bases of the prism. So a prism has two bases, they're parallel and congruent. So this is and then the shape of the base tells you the type of prism you have. So since the shape of this base is a triangle, it's a triangular prism. We'll need to find the area of each of the faces. And so I'm going to label them. I'll label the triangles with an A, and then I'll label this bottom face with a B. I'm talking about this face. This diagonal face up here, I'll call that C, and this it almost looks like it's vertical, but I don't think it's quite vertical. But this face back here, we'll call D. And so you kind of have to, I mean, it would be easy for you to confuse what I'm calling B and what you're calling B. So we'll make that clear by sketching the shape of each of the faces and then labeling them on the side here. I think that's always a good idea to do that anyway. We have a triangular face, two triangular faces actually. And you have to really pay close attention to all the dimensions. It would be easy, if you look at this back of this triangle back here, it would be easy to think that this 17 meter and this 10 meter, these two sides of the triangle are perpendicular. They look like they're probably intersecting at a right angle. But I know that that may or may not be true, but I know for sure that this height, this altitude that's given here is intersecting this base at a right angle. So because the right angle symbol is given, the symbol to indicate perpendicular lines. And so for sure I know that I can call this my height of my triangle and this my base, 21 meters. These other dimensions are going to be needed to find the area of these rectangular faces, but you can't use them to find the area of the triangle because we've been given that it's clear the altitude or the height of the triangle is clearly marked here. Okay, so this is shape A, face A, and I know I have two of those, but I only need to draw it once. Face B would be this large rectangular bottom piece. And it has dimensions 42 by this dimension here, which if I look over here I see that's 21. So the base and height of that rectangle. And then this diagonal rectangular face here, C, that's not very good. Also has a base of 42, but its height would be this is why I need the 17 over here, because the height of this rectangle is 17 meters. This back face, this back rectangular face D, also has a base of 42 and a height of 10. Once you have all of the different faces sketched, and I would encourage you to do this always, to sketch the different faces of the object you're using to find the surface area, then you can write a formula for surface area, and it will differ from one prism to the next depending on the geometry and what shape your base is. But in this case, our surface area would be equal to be equal to 2 times the area of face A, since A are the triangles, and I have 2 of them and they're congruent, plus the area of face B, plus the area of face C, plus the area of face D. Then you just substitute in the area formulas for each of the different shapes, and you can calculate the surface area. Why don't you try to do that during the pause and come back and see how you did.
Paused.
The formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, so I have 2 multiplied by 1/2 base times height, plus, for the rectangles we know it'll just be base times height, so I'll say 42 times 21, plus area of C would be 42 times 17, plus the area of D would be 42 times 10. 2 multiplied by 1/2 is 1. These just cancel. And so I have base times height for the triangle. It will be 21 times 8. Plus, I'm going to do something here. I have, if you look at, if I put parentheses around these 3 terms, you see that they all have a common factor of 42. So plus 42 multiplied by 21 plus 17 plus 10. You don't have to do it that way, but I think it's going to save me a little bit of work, so I'm going to do that. I'm factoring the 42 out of each of these terms. 21 multiplied by 8 is 168, plus 42 multiplied by the sum of these 3 will be 48. And did I say you could use a calculator on this? Yes, I did, as long as you write the formulas. So as long as you show this work, then you can use a calculator. I'm going to, let me just use a calculator. 42 times 48, 2016 plus 168, so 2184 surface area is equal to 2184. The units would be meters squared, because even though we're dealing with a 3-dimensional object here, when we're talking about surface area, we're talking about the amount of material that would be required to cover this 3-dimensional object. So each of the faces is representing 2-dimensional space. Each face is representing 2-dimensional space, so the sum of the areas of those faces is just an area in itself, and so it would be 2-dimensional. So meters squared. So the surface area of this triangular prism is 2,184 meters squared. Okay, I hope that helped with the homework. I'll see you tomorrow.